Cocaina. Somebody just asked me why I hate the military. I spy with my little eye. Block watch. Somebody asked me if I'm autistic. I'm autistic as shit. Helly Hansen makes me hella handsome while I lend a helping hand, son, because honesty and integrity are a part of their corporate policy. When I trek the mountains and travel the 7 seas, Helly Hansen makes it a breeze while I'm looking for all of the cryptography hidden in fantasy, TV, comic books, and reality.
Food it can be, someone is speaking, but he doesn't know she's there. I won't.
Martin Cabello, otherwise known as Tie Me to Mask So I Exist, has a following of 66,000 people on Instagram. But his content is a little unexpected to say the least. Now, intentionally, I really wanted this video to be a short one, and I didn't think I had much to say, but once I started writing, I just didn't fucking stop. It was like a rabbit hole I kept going further and further down. But I wanted to cover it nonetheless because it's a pretty interesting topic, and I mean that in the best way. I tried to compile as much information as possible, but there's a lot of information to go through. And there are a lot of words. But this is gonna be a tough one, but you know, whatever, here we go. From what I've taken, Martin is a 30-year-old turbo Chad meathead who enjoys posting on Instagram pretty frequently. I like to guess that from how often he's on Instagram, he uses this shit just as much as I do, and it's like comforting and scary when I think that somebody else could be using Instagram as much as I do. He has autism, which he's pretty vocal about, and the word savant has been thrown on his page around pretty frequently, mostly in live streams, which I'm pretty sure is an autistic person who excels in some kind of intelligence more than other autistic people or even regular people. He also talks a lot about the army, but we'll get into that one a little bit later. I first started hearing this guy by just seeing random memes of him on Instagram. A lot of mutuals would share his stuff or just post something completely out of context that was pretty funny, but I had a feeling that there was something more behind it. I just never gave a fuck enough or looked into it up until recently. Fast forward 2 weeks ago, and I came across a post that was shared by him, and I just decided to send the follow request. When he accepted my request though, I must say that I was surprised.
Hebrews what? The ketones needed to heal your bones. Ketones. Some cryptography from Sophie. If you spell dog backwards, somewhere over a rainbow, at the end of a yellow brick road, is the covenant that arcs, the Ark of the Covenant. The 7 seals of a rainbow reveals a body of light that is real light when all 7 seals unite in the Ark of the covenant that arcs. With a staff, weapon, trident, bow, lightning bolt, or whatever your cultural interpretation is in one hand, and a yellow book or scroll of light in the other, the two-way pact between humans and all living creatures, or the words of God. Helly Hansen makes Sophie hella handsome while she lends a helping hand, son, because honesty and integrity are part of their corporate policy. When Sophie treks the mountains and travels the 7 seas in search of the Ark of the Covenant, Helly Hansen makes it a breeze. You ever spell dog backwards and wonder what they can see at the center of a rainbow instead of the end?
Of course, my first reaction was like, what the fuck? But we're gonna talk about this. Right off the bat, I'm gonna say that he does this thing a lot in his videos that people often call word salad. I actually learned what it was from another YouTube video. I'm sad to say I spent 2 hours looking for that fucking video because I feel like it kind of related to Martin, but I just know it was on Scare Theater or Night Expo, I think is his fucking name. One of those spooky accounts. It would follow a guy who was a veteran of some sort. He had a bunch of weird fucking tattoos. And he would make posts that it seemed very nonsensical, and he just used way too many words that had nothing to do with what he was trying to say to get his word across. Or the case of Jacqueline Aids, you know, the girl who sent a guy over 100,000 texts. Not only, I guess, can that be kind of considered word salad in a way, but if you take a look at her Instagram post when she started breaking down, she was saying a bunch of things that didn't make sense and just throwing in words and adding numbers and so on and so forth. Word salad is a confused or unintelligible mixture of seemingly random words and phrases, most often used to describe a symptom of a neurological or mental disorder. Word salad is often associated with schizophrenia and dementia, though it can also be seen in a few other places. I'm definitely not a doctor, and I certainly don't know Martin enough to understand where the excessive usage of words comes from, but I just wanted to put that in here because I think it's important. A lot of people rag on Martin and the way he talks because they either don't know right off the bat what's going on, or, you know, it's weird, it's alien to them, and they're not gonna do the fucking research. It's just a weird guy, a loony, a crazy. Ooh, spooky, spooky. At first, I couldn't even tell if Martin was being serious or just fucking trolling, which I think also adds to the layer of people who poke fun and make fun of him for the lulz. Before I explain what I believe Martin is trying to do here, I do want to cover the military aspect of his account and his life. I have to fully disclose that so far, I have no idea if he's actually served in the army or not. It feels like he has because of all of the information that he relays, but at the same time, I mean, I could know a lot about a thing and have never done it before or been involved with it before. I'm pretty sure though that several times he said that he was never in the army. I feel like 3 out of 10 of his posts will be structured in that he's mentioning something about the army, but he's like tagging every single army, US, like, kind of page in America that he possibly can. He also is constantly talking about being in fear of his Instagram being removed again. A more recent and serious case is one where Martin claims that he was brought to a courthouse and asked for his military papers that he didn't have, which somehow caused him to be hit in the head and then caused a forgery of fake military papers for him by a police officer and a pastor, just to state the fact that he was actually in the military. This is all alleged. I don't want to take trauma away from him, but these are some heavy ass accusations. And in this post, he even does that thing where he tags all of the army people on fucking planet Earth.
Somebody asked me what it means by never stand up straight in public, a basic psyop trick, and was I ever in the military. When some people had enough clearance to run my background, they took me to Montesano Courthouse and demanded my military paperwork. Right? I've never been in the military, but when somebody had enough clearance to go through my background check, they took me to a public location and demanded my military paperwork, and then set up a situation where I was hit in the head and had a police officer and a pastor from St. Jerome's Church in Ocean Shores give me fake military paperwork so they could have a list and the locations of every woman and child I'd ever taken care of so they could know where they were at. And then I want you to think about cannabinoids, ketones, lactic acid, and all the other chemicals your body created during fasting that were present to kickstart the epigenetics of your cognition.
It's kind of crazy. Here in this post, he also showcases where he's been like hurt a bunch of times for some reason, but again, there's really not much context. In the comments, you'll just see people asking, hey, is it from this? Hey, is this what the army did to you, Martin? Hey, did you get that one in Nam? Hey, Martin, can you adopt me? There are other things I'm sure people want me to look at and get into and talk about, such as a guy named Josh in his life with 2 children.
Some preparation H in KY jelly, because this post is a pain in the ass, but it's beneficial on the whole. Somebody asked me why my friend Josh blew himself up with his 2 children.
But in live streams, he seems pretty sensitive about certain things. I decided that whatever I peeped he was sensitive about, I just wouldn't bring up in this video for his sake. It's definitely weird shit, and people are constantly bringing it up though, so I'm pretty sure if you want to do your own extensive research, then you can. At first, I really didn't understand Martin's videos and his Instagram because you are getting bombarded with a lot of information and a lot of Hallie Hansen's. But after looking in through his stuff and going into his live streams, I feel like he just wants to help people. He kind of has like this life coach vibe, the way he talks about removing sugar from your diet to unlock your ketones, which whatever the fuck that means. But I do know that removing sugar from your diet is a really good thing to do.
Every military and intelligence agency and every religion since the beginning of time has used removing sugar from your diet or from your body to repair yourself of injuries and diseases and raise your intelligence. When you remove sugar from your diet, it has your body create ketones that oxidize into acetate that combines with lactic acid when you exercise, which is designed to remove damaged blood cells and things like that from your muscles. So if you do that and then jump in cold water, you can push it into your brain and clear the capillaries out of your brain and raise your intelligence.
It's not a myth that it could do wonders for your health and your mental health. And shit, I've been staying away from soda and sugary drinks, at least to start, for a while now. But this guy's breakfast contains of vitamins and fucking eggs, bro. He's a meathead, so of course he's gonna eat them raw. Shit, I used to eat raw eggs for breakfast every morning, so I mean, it's whatever, I guess. You know, do what you got. Mans is really trying to stay away from sugar. He does talk about mental health, his autism, and how to better your brain constantly through your diet, through exercise. He's kind of a fitness nut, which kind of makes sense when you actually realize that he used to be kind of big and unhealthy. It looks like a guy who really needed change and just got the fuck up and grabbed it. He's also constantly talking about religion, and even though I'm not really religious anymore, I still respect what he has to say because honestly, it's a lot less negative shit he says than I grew up listening to sermons in churches, you know, or preachers, or my dad. It's just kind of hopeful, and I'll throw this example up.
It puts the lotion on its skin or gets the hose again. When your father's atoms from his serpent or sperm merged and took a bite out of your mother's egg, the forbidden fruit, at the eve of your creation, it created a spark of light that is real light, a real life halo that fell down from the kingdom of heaven that is real light, if you believe in quantum mechanics, to be transferred into a newly created biological 666 carbon vessel, to grow on a branch umbilical cord on the tree of life placenta, in the Garden of Eden womb, until it became full term and was kicked out to toil the soil. You think about that, in the very beginning of Abrahamic religions was Judaism, who stated Adam and Eve weren't real characters, therefore none of the characters in the Torah were real, but contained an apocalypse that would unite all of humanity as the true tribe of Israelites. And today, evil men tell you apocalypse means the end of the world, instead of lifting of the veil.
You are such a poet, Martin. As someone who grew up being told that the rapture and the apocalypse would destroy all of those who partook in gay sex, I would have to live through the apocalypse only to not be accepted into heaven. It's finally nice to hear a more positive standpoint, like the rapture and the world's demise just bringing us together. I would really rather listen to this guy talk about his religion than any priest I've come in contact with in my entire life. Martin makes me feel like God and Christianity and religion really doesn't have to be so dark and dreary sometimes. But that's enough about that. I mentioned hopping in on a few of his live streams. He constantly brings people on. They almost never have anything important to contribute. It's a fart, or they're just complete assholes before he winds up throwing them out. He's a pretty smart guy, and even though he uses words more than other people, he gets his word across pretty fucking fine. Again, in these live streams, he talks about a bunch of different things, but a reoccurring theme that I've constantly stepped in on is that he just wants to help people out. I remember him saying that there's nothing more important in this world than helping women and children in need, and that he just wants his word to be spread across. He mentioned also that he wouldn't be surprised if his account would be getting deleted again soon, and that he just wanted the word of his existence out there and to just spread it. And you know what, Martin? I don't got much clout, but I got you, buddy. Martin Cabello is a pretty cool guy. I think a lot of people troll him or make fun of him because they just really don't understand him, nor do they want to. While I do have to admit, his videos do make for a bunch of good fucking weird ass out of context memes, there's definitely an overwhelming amount of people who don't take him seriously at all and who constantly berate him. I know it seems like I'm slobbing on this guy's knob, but I just wanted to do something different from all of that. And I really wanted to take a small dive into his content and who he is as a person. Someone whose main goal is to like help people in a positive manner is always okay in my book, especially because I identify with that a lot. Maybe people are also jealous on top of not getting him. Nigga got a 6-pack on top of a 6-pack. 5 more muscles away from being a giga chad. His wife is beautiful, and from most of their videos, they do seem super fucking happy.
I have to get ready. Bye, have a good day.
She's got to get more beautiful than she already wakes up looking. Bye, everyone.
He's smart, he's healthy, and people fucking hate to see that shit. Somebody commented this on one of his posts. I commented that I don't necessarily think that's true, megatard memes. I think he does know what he's talking about. He correlates a lot of words and makes a lot of connections and adds a lot of information, making it semi-comprehensible, but a lot to break down sometimes. That probably makes it, you know, harder for people trying to understand the root of what he is relaying. Martin himself says that because he has autism, people with autism see things in patterns a lot.
In reality, right? Pattern recognition is what autistic people do. They line things up, they find things that line up.
I think when he talks, that's exactly what he's doing, as it does have a rhythmic, very poetic, Dr. Seussy kind of tone to it. Rhyming things together, breaking up words, and putting the broken words in front of other words, just to get his point across. I said this video would be short, but I have a feeling it's a little bit longer than I expected. Martin, if you're watching this, I think you're a fucking dope-ass guy. I've hopped in on a few live streams, trying to have like conversation with you, but you are pretty popular. Regardless, never stop doing what you're doing. It's plain to see you're pretty happy, you know, sharing information and trying to help out a bunch of etards on the internet, myself included. Regardless to where your account or internet presence goes, I highly doubt anyone's forgetting Martin Cabello anytime soon. People like Martin interest me immensely. At first follow and first glance, I was like sad looking at his page to see that it's obvious he had some kind of neurological problem, but that, you know, people were just always fucking making fun of him. But that's just how the internet is. And after a few weeks of following him, it's plain to see that he's a fucking grown-ass man. He can handle himself. And he takes it like a champ. That is gonna do it for today's video. Please leave a like if you haven't already. And please subscribe if you haven't already. I just farted. Please make sure you subscribe because my next video is gonna be on somebody, let's just say she's controversial. Bye, everyone. Oh, fuck.
Birds of a feather flock together. There's nothing more important or more rewarding in life than taking care of women and children that need your help. God bless.